Kris.
And I'm Wyatt Elliott from Notebook Entertainment.
And you're watching Horrorland News. Alright, this is part 2 of our catch-up. You caught us on Friday. It was pretty much just, here's what you missed. And so now we're catching up. We're back in with the current news.
Right. Now let's get to the mustard of it.
I don't like mustard. Okay, so let's get to TV Roundup.
No TV and no beer make Homer something.
Alright, so this first one, they released a full trailer for it. I'm very excited about it because I'm a very big fan of Sweeney Todd. And so I would like to see a modern retelling, and this is it. It's called The Horror of Dolores Roach. It'll be on Amazon Prime, 8 episodes, and it releases July 7th. So here's what it's about. Dolores Roach is released from prison after 16 years and returns to a severely gentrified Washington Heights with $200 and the clothes on her back. Her boyfriend's missing, her family's long gone, and Dolores reunites with an old stoner buddy, Louis, who gives her room and board and lets her give massages for cash in the basement under his dilapidated storefront, Empanada Loca, the only remnant of her former life. When the promise of her newfound stability is quickly threatened, Magic Hands Dolores is driven to shocking extremes to survive, and in the face of unexpected professional success, Dolores and Louise become dangerously symbiotic, and Louis must unleash his own peculiar predilections.
Well, I think if you know Sweeney Todd, then you know where this is going.
Yeah, she's totally going to kill the guys, and he's totally going to make them into empanadas.
Yeah, which I think is a nice twist. I don't know, I like empanadas. I would try it. I think it looks fun. Like, the trailer makes it look like an absolute blast. Like, I don't know who any of these people are in this movie.
Yes,
but
you do. Justina Machado is playing Dolores, and you know her as the pregnant lady in Final Destination 2, the one that they all think, oh, her baby, because she, new life.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Gets rid of the curse, and it turns out that wasn't it.
Oh, I wouldn't have recognized her from that.
I did. I was like, where do I know this lady from? And then I'm reading the article or whatever, and I'm like, that's it, Final Destination 2. Her face, instantly, I was like, where do I know this woman
you
from?
got to think for faces, for sure. Oh. Like, I thought she was some newcomer or something.
Yeah, I'm sure she's been in other stuff too, but that immediately I was like, yes, that is what I know her from.
I did recognize Mark Maron in it.
Obviously, Mark Maron, Cyndi Lauper's in it. Oh yeah, and this was originally created by Aaron Mark as a one-woman play. Oh. So he's going to be one of the showrunners, and he also adapted it before it became a series. It was a podcast. So, and then Blumhouse Television is among the producers of this, so probably in
Very nice. Yeah, probably.
All right, so let's move on to Squid Game Season 2. Netflix has released a teaser that shows us the returning cast and then some of the new cast. But I don't know who any of the new people are. But the returning people, we've got our main guy who had the red hair at the end. I hope he goes in and just fucks everything up. Police guy is alive after he got shot and fell off the cliff. He's back, so unless it's all like flashbacks, he's back. Frontman is back, who we found out was the brother of police officer. Spoilers for like a 3-year-old show or 2-year-old show.
Right.
That we all watched during the pandemic.
You sure did. It's funny, it doesn't feel like it was that long.
Right.
But yeah.
And then the recruiter guy is also back. So my guess is that they're going to try and run another Squid Game, and red hair might maybe even meet up with cop guy.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Get him.
Yeah. I'm expecting
Justice for Ali.
Yeah, I'm expecting a different type of series this time instead of it just being following the game and everybody in the game. I think they have to, because we've seen that.
Yeah, we've seen the game.
So I think now it's time to explore the underneath of it and trying to destroy it.
Who's pulling all the strings? Because now that old man's dead,
right?
Is brother dude in charge now? Like, I don't know. We'll find out, because I'll be watching. There's no release date yet. I assume probably the writer's strike wouldn't affect them because they're in Korea.
It should not affect.
So it should not affect that.
It should not.
All right, so moving on to our final piece of TV news. Stranger Things Season 5 confirmed the last season. They are currently on break from filming because of the writer's strike, but they are releasing news and stuff, and one of the things they've released is that Linda Hamilton is joining the cast.
Yeah.
So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they had Arnold Schwarzenegger introduce her at the Netflix event or whatever it was they were doing.
So Matt and Ross Duffer have quoted as saying, 7 years ago, we planned out the complete story arc for Stranger Things. At the time, we predicted the story would last 4 or 5 seasons. It proved too large to tell in 4, but as you'll soon see for yourself, we are now hurtling toward our finale. Season 5 will be the last. Which makes me feel good because if they've got a plan, then they know how it's going to end. Like, you know?
It will make sense if they had a plan since the beginning.
Exactly.
Things that happened in Season 2 will affect Season 5, and that's what's important.
That's what we want is this whole rounded, wrapped up thing, because now that the Upside Down is all tore apart and shit and opened and
no, that's exactly what they needed. It sounds like even if they just had an outline, that's all that they needed. At least it'll make sense. So that's
all we ask. Just make it make sense.
It's not that hard.
Don't
guys.
be lost.
It's not that hard.
All right, let's move on to Trailer Park.
In a world.
All right, so this first one is a bit gloomy, I guess. It's called Tearsucker. It's directed by Steven Vanderpool, written by Sam Britton. Here's what it's about. Lily is an emotionally vulnerable trauma survivor who's desperate to heal and get on with her life. Despite the support of her best friend, Deb, Lily is completely isolated. When she crosses paths with a charming stranger named Tom at the park, she feels for the first time in months. Tom sweeps Lily off her feet and invites her on a romantic weekend getaway. However, things take a disturbing turn when Lily discovers that Tom has an unusual appetite for tears and will stop at nothing to get them.
Oh, I thought it was a metaphor. I didn't realize it was literally.
No, like he literally sucks the tears out of her face, I guess.
Weird. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's creepy.
I'm sure it's still going to somehow be a metaphor for something.
Well, sure.
We just got to watch the movie to figure out what.
When I watched the trailer, I just thought it was about toxic people.
I mean...
Which he probably is,
clearly. Well, that's the metaphor then, is he's a tearsucker. He wants you to feel bad because he wants those tears. He thrives off of
so he's gonna
abusing you. Right?
Exactly. So he's going to torture her mentally, probably.
Yep.
That's an interesting take. It's a mental horror, you know?
Right. Sometimes those are the scariest ones because it gets all up in your head, and then especially if you can relate to it in any way, if you've been in a relationship like that.
Then it's too real.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a dark one, but it might be an interesting watch.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be in theaters. It's going to be available to rent/own on VOD and DVD. So they are doing a physical release July 7th.
All right then.
So if that sounded interesting to you at all, look on your VOD subscriber, whatever.
Right. I just saw I didn't realize that, Barbarian has not had a physical release yet. And I guess the internet's all, upset about it. And they're like, give us our Barbarian.
Right.
Because I know it wasn't, your favorite movie or whatever. It's not one I would buy, but
a lot of people liked it. Yeah. They should be able to own it.
That doesn't make any sense there, Fox. Why are you getting out of the DVD business? I hate this
not doing physical media stuff. I hate it. Especially with, you've got HBO and Disney just pulling shit.
Yep.
And Disney's got their little vault they like to throw stuff in.
And the thing is with Barbarian is it was a theatrical release. It's not like it was a Hulu movie or something. Why is it not?
Where's there no... Yeah, give these people their Blu-ray. I'm not going to buy it, but it's for other people.
Right.
Give it to them.
Exactly. Man, what world are we living in when independent films like Pooh is going to be on Blu-ray, but not
I'm going to buy the fuck out of that one. Going to buy it so hard. All right. Next up we have... I don't know, guys. So, Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, God.
It's going to be the first Marvel movie released through Sony with an R rating, but I'm not sure that it's going to help. It is very violent and bloody from the trailer.
It looks like it's a lot of CGI blood.
Yeah.
To be fair, it looks like they were... Yeah, I don't know. I never thought Kraven was a character that deserves his own movie.
Right.
He was a poacher that just wanted the original. The way I remember him was he was just an awful poacher who wanted the ultimate game, and Spider-Man was a game, and so he was hired to kill him and bring him in, but he saw it as an ultimate game, and so he started hunting superheroes. Now they're trying to make him like he's got these powers of
right. I was like, so wait a minute, the lion mauls him, and then the blood also
Right, so
is he a were-lion? Like, what is going on
what
here?
is this? Is this a radioactive lion? What is happening, guys?
I don't know.
And I guess they're trying to make him like he's like trying to protect animals
Anti-hero.
and stuff.
They're trying to make him an anti-hero.
They are. They're trying to make all the Morbius is an anti-hero, Venom's an anti-hero. It's just, guys, sometimes they're just villains.
Right. Not everyone's Killmonger, guys. Like, not everyone needs to be justified in their violence.
Sometimes they can just be bad guys. And, like, I don't know. I don't think Aaron Taylor Johnson is, like, blown it away from his parts. Like, he doesn't even look like Kraven. Here's another one where it's... And they honestly, it feels like in the more recent history, they've been trying to do better at this. But now we're going back to, it's the character in name only.
Right. Yeah, as he said, Aaron Taylor Johnson plays Kraven. I feel bad for Ariana DeBose. I feel like she should have waited for, like, an offer for a real Marvel movie.
Right.
But she's in this movie as Calypso. And then Christopher Abbott as the Foreigner. I don't know who he is, and I don't know who the character is.
Not familiar with him.
Also, Russell Crowe's in it, so.
Yeah, like, I feel...
With a bad, like, Russian accent.
Yeah, like, sometimes I feel like, or I wonder, does Sony, like, tap these actors to be in their movies by spouting that they're Marvel, and like some of these actors don't know any better, and they're just like, oh, I'm in a Marvel movie, sweet.
Look at the fine print, check for Sony somewhere in there.
Like, and then all of a sudden it's like they find themselves in Morbius, like.
Right, Matt Smith. Why would Matt Smith be in? He deserves real Marvel.
To be fair, I mean, it's not like they care if they're in the MCU or not, because Aaron Taylor Johnson was freaking Quicksilver. Yeah. Like I
liked him as Quicksilver. Like,
yeah, he was fine.
He was bad. I liked Evan Peters better.
Oddly enough, he had a Russian accent in that one too.
I know. Well, to remember, Scarlet Witch started off with a real thick accent too.
Yeah, she did. But I'm just saying, is that why they cast him? Because he came in the audition, made the accent. They're like, okay.
Yep.
I forgot who else was up for this part, but I remember I was rooting for them over Aaron Taylor Johnson. But Aaron Taylor Johnson probably came cheaper. Let's face it. But I don't know. Whatever, guys. They've been determined to make this damn movie for like a decade. Yeah. We're hearing about it.
Well, they've done it, and so basically this is Kraven's origin story before he begins his vendetta with Spider-Man. And the scene with I don't like that. I don't like spiders.
You know what? Prove me wrong, guys. Maybe you finally learned your lesson.
They might have finally done a good one. Who knows? All right, so let's get out of the trailer park and move on to news. Alright, so first up, Cineverse, Bloody Disgusting, and Screambox have acquired the rights to Terrifier 3. That's old news, but they've actually acquired the rights from Damien Leone and Phil Falcone. So they now own it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that might not be good.
Right? Yeah. Oh, well, it's Bloody Disgusting, so I'm pretty sure they'll just let him do whatever he wants.
I would think so, but what I'm saying is, eventually, when he wants to move on, they can keep making Terrifiers till he's in space. Yeah. They'll eventually do Terrifier in space. But hey,
I would watch
good for him though. He probably made a buttload of money off of it.
Right. So what it means ultimately right now is that it's just going to get a wider release when it does release. Because they'll be able to put it in more theaters than
IMAX.
Exactly. Terrifier 3 in IMAX.
That would be
3D IMAX.
That would be epic, actually.
It's like the gore is coming right at me.
Which is awesome, because if you think about what he was able to do on his independent budget versus a studio's budget.
I'm expecting way better gore, props, prosthetics, because that's what this man is ultimately a makeup artist and a brilliant one. I love his work.
And he has promised that this one's going to be no disappointment. It's going to go over the top with the violence and everything. So I say bring on the violence, less story. You're not good at stories.
Not good at
just
the story.
Don't tell a story. Just go back to the original thing and made it great.
Right.
That's all we need.
That's all we need. And keep the girl clown. I liked her.
Yeah, I liked her. Yeah, I think everybody liked her.
All right, so next up in news, we have 2 horror versions of Cinderella coming to us.
Ooh.
Now, I think the Disney version's scary in itself. It's issues. But it doesn't sound like either one of these movies is going to go the way of the Grimm brothers. They're not going to do what you expect and like, okay, well, we're just going to give you the original Cinderella.
That's what I would have
They cut off their feet and their toes and birds peck their eyes out. Like, it's awesome. Read the original Grimm story if you haven't. But, so first up is Cinderella's Curse. This is from Champ Dog Films. It's produced and directed by Louisa Warren and written by Harry Boxley. Louisa Warren has said, quote, "This is an incredibly unique spin on the Cinderella we all love and know. There are going to be some truly horrific deaths by her hands. I think the Gorehounds are in for a treat in my next dark retelling."
I wouldn't have expected her to be the killer, but okay.
I'm down.
Right. I thought it'd be like evil stepsisters.
That stepmother needs to go. So, Cinderella's Curse begins filming next month in the UK. ITN Studios will release the film in October of this year.
Ooh.
So, Screambox, Shudder, one of those streaming services will probably pick it up. If I find out or hear more about it, I'll update you with more on that. So next up, we have Cinderella's Revenge from Sobini Films.
Okay.
This one's starring Natasha Henstridge as the fairy godmother.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen her in a while.
Right. It's directed by Andi Edwards, who did Zombie Spring Breakers. I haven't seen that, but I've heard of it.
I have heard of it. I think I've even seen the trailer.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
But... So this one's about Cinderella's wicked stepsisters and stepmother push her too far, leading her to swap her glass slippers in pursuit of blood-soaked vengeance with the help of her fairy godmother.
I hope she kills him with a glass slipper.
That'd be amazing, glass slipper to the eye. Right. So that one is also currently filming in UK. They don't have a release date yet for that one, though. So I will update you as we get more. Because that sounds like it's kind of a bigger one because they have Natasha Henstridge budget. Like, right.
But is it just me or does it feel like the publicity, at least, and I would like to say the success of Blood and Honey has really spawned off all these like fairy tale reimaginings. Do it to it, you guys. So, that's awesome, though.
And like I said, I'm glad that they're not just going the easy way of, we'll just film the Grimm version.
Sure.
Like, yeah, come up with your own thing for it. I'm down.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on. Radio Silence is working on an unnamed monster thriller for Universal. They're keeping the project in mystery with no title or synopsis, but they have given a release date of April 19th, 2024. Now, I hope this means that they are taking time off before doing Scream 7, that they're really going to think about it. If you watch our review for Scream, at the very end, I give what I think would be an interesting way for this series to go. I really want them to think about it, because let's face it, guys. Scream 5 is a retelling of Scream 1.
Yeah.
And Scream 6 is a retelling of Scream 2.
Yeah.
We don't need another retelling of Scream 3 unless Parker Posey's going to be in it again.
They're going to freaking do it, though, because apparently they have no other ideas.
Right.
And they think that kids just want to see the same thing rehashed.
Exactly.
And that's...
So I'm really hoping that this project kind of gives them a step back, a little clarity. They're doing this first.
Yeah.
So Giancarlo Esposito has just signed on to join the cast, and Dan Stevens was already signed on to star in it.
You mean the monster movie, not the Scream
Monster
7.
movie, yes.
Oh, okay.
There's no news on Scream 7. This is all about this untitled monster movie.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it's because Universal they're still trying to get their monster universe back up and running.
But they need to do it. They need to focus on the horror aspect of it.
So I'm okay with Dan Stevens starring. I'm absolutely over the moon that Giancarlo Esposito is going to be in it. Here's my problem: is that Melissa Barrera is also starring, and she plays Sam in Scream, and we are underwhelmed by Sam.
Yeah.
I don't want to blame the actress. I want to say it's a character problem that we just don't like the character of Sam.
That's what I think it is.
So I'm willing to give her a shot in a completely different role and see how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does make me a little nervous that they're like, her, out of all of these casts of wonderful, talented people, the one that's the most boring.
Every director seems to latch on to an actor.
Yeah.
You know, that they like.
But Ty West has Mia Goth, like...
Well, I mean, to them, they must really like her. They're not seeing what we're lacking in seeing.
Right.
Because they wrote it, you know?
Yeah,
so
I guess.
that's probably the problem. They think she's a great character, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't like Sam Carpenter at all.
They need to write her better, give her better arcs, give her any arcs.
Any arc. any kind of personality beyond wide-eyed, like, I don't know what I'm doing.
They need a director better or something.
An angry
because
face.
When she shares the screen with Jenna Ortega,
it's much better.
It loses it. She doesn't.
It's better. That's what I'm saying. And if you look at our review, we said that in our review too. It's like Jenna Ortega like pulls better performances out of people. Because the only times I liked Sam in Scream 6 was when she was interacting with Jenna Ortega. Tara, because it felt more real somehow than just this girl running around who's either got a lost look on her face or an angry look on her face. Like, that's all.
And it could be, again, direction, because the actress might be good at that sisterly bond doing things, because that's something she can relate to while being scared and running around. Maybe she
needs a little more.
She needs a little more guidance on. Not everybody's a scream queen.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the problem. Is I don't feel like she's a scream queen.
No. I think I don't know what honestly, I don't care for any of the characters except for Tara in the new series.
Truth. So but back to this untitled thing. The Hollywood Reporter has said, quote, "The project was at one point titled Dracula's Daughter, but that project centered on a group of kidnappers who abduct a band of young people, one of whom ends up being a titular character. Woe then betides the kidnappers. Ware is playing the kidnappee, who proves to be more than she appears, with Barrera playing one of the kidnappers." So that was what it was before it became this new untitled project. I'm assuming before Radio Silence signed on.
Could be.
So there's nothing to say that it's still Dracula's Daughter. They are very specific that it is untitled monster movie is what they're calling it now.
So they may have come in and they decided to go a complete route with it.
Right, because that's stupid.
It reminds me of like what they originally were trying with Dracula Untold and everything.
Right.
Like, I think they need to go a more darker gothic route with it and keep it like the originals. Kind of like what Bram Stoker's Dracula did.
Right, but we don't need another one of those. So if you don't have a new take on Dracula, I say just don't do it.
Well, yeah.
All right, so our final story tonight, Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights has announced their first haunted house of the season. It will be based on The Last of Us, and they released a video announcement that's basically a short film.
Nice, I'll have to check that out. I heard they were going to do The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And then aren't they doing Stranger Things, or was that
that's a rumor, I think. Okay. But this is the only one official on their website as of right now.
Sweet.
And like I said, their announcement video it's like a little short story. And
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that could be very cool.
Absolutely.
I'll check that out.
We always want to go. It's family stuff might not be. I might have to be in Texas, so we might not be able to go this year either. But one of these years, we're gonna make it to Universal Horror Nights.
That's right. And we'll take our cameras with us.
Yes.
So it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, so that rounds up the news. Let's get to Indie Film Spotlight.
My advice to young filmmakers: make a movie every week. Make films, no matter what anybody says, and you'll be a filmmaker.
All right, so this one has been going around the internet all last week. It's called The Chair. It's about 24 minutes. It's by director Curry Barker. It's starring Anthony Pavone. So here's what this movie's about. After Reese brings home an antique chair, a series of horrific events follow, leading him to question if it's a spirit the chair possesses or the darkness inside his own mind. And they said this in the Bloody Disgusting article about this movie. But I picked it up too. I think at one point they even say you've got Alzheimer's and you just can't remember. But this does feel very much like a metaphor for Alzheimer's and dementia and those kinds. And I think that's why this movie kind of struck a chord with me, because I'm going through that right now. My grandma is dying from dementia. And it's hard to watch someone lose their mind and become not themselves anymore.
And I've dealt with it on my side of the family as well. My dad had it, and so I think a lot of people are going to relate to it on that aspect. But I think it holds its. I don't want people to think that it's a preachy movie or anything, because I think it holds its own on the story. And I was able to pick up immediately on what the story. The first time he woke up from the chair.
Yeah.
Because the old guy in the background always caught my attention.
Yep.
And I'm
like, what's that dude doing back there?
Yeah. And so I like. It looks to me like he can possess anybody that sits in this chair.
Right.
Is what I took from it, and I think that's kind of an interesting idea.
And by the end, you're like, okay, what part happened? Like, what was real? What wasn't? What? Because there's these time jumps, and then there isn't. Like, it's weird. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a body. Like,
okay, I was confused about that, and especially when he turned up alive at the end. Spoiler alert. I
don't think it was alive. I think it was his mind, because they all look kind of zombie-ish as they were walking out. I think, again, that was his mind. But I think he's the guy that because remember the first time jump when he comes back, and it's been like a week or something, and she's accusing him of all the stuff that he doesn't remember doing. And she's like, you lost your job because you were racist, and you attacked someone. So I think that's who the body is supposed to be, is this guy that she mentions him attacking.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. It's definitely a movie that I think would, and I only watched it once,
yeah,
but
I'm going to
I think
rewatch
I might rewatching it, which could be why it's got a lot of views, because it does. I think it does, now that we're talking about it, it makes me want to go back and see if it does connect and everything, and I'm sure that it does. But
right, because the first time you're watching it, you're trying to like follow, you're like, what the fuck? And that's what keeps you watching, because you're like, I need to know what is going on with this chair. Like,
it was one of those things where, like, when I first put it on, I was also playing a video game, and I was just kind of watching out the corner, but then the minute the chair thing happened, I paused and just watched the whole thing. And I'm like, I can't look away, you know, because you are trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
But I feel like I was guessing it right before the reveal of everything. As far as, like, you know, like I said, the possession of the chair, and I realized that, and then, you know, I was guessing that, oh, okay, she sat in the chair too, and therefore I thought she was going to have a time lapse, though.
No, it's all through him.
It's all through him, yeah. So I thought, but it's complicated, but it's good.
It's really good, yeah. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
No, it's great. It's one of those mindfuck movies, you know, that's just like, wait. Okay.
Wait, what?
Right. But I like it a lot.
Yeah, and the actors did a really good job, because the girlfriend, she has to go from being, like, normal to, like, possessed. And there's this one scene where the old guy comes into their bedroom at night, and she wakes up, sees him, starts screaming, then turns and looks, gives him the creepiest little smile, and then just falls back asleep.
I was like, what the fuck? That reminded me of something from Evil Dead or something. I was like, what the fuck? That was good. Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah, the actors were really good in this, so.
Yeah, it's a really good short. I can see why it's
picking up
making
steam.
The rounds and
it won Best Film at the LA Short Film Fest.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is really well done. Like, it feels very professional. You know, like, still indie. Don't get me wrong. It still has an indie feel to it as well.
Now, here's my problem: is in their article about it, Bloody Disgusting was talking about how, you know, Lights Out and Smile started as, you know, and it worked out for Smile. Smile worked in a full film. Yeah. Lights Out did not.
As a movie, but it did help the director.
It did,
big movies,
but
so.
it didn't need expanding.
No.
I don't think the chair needs expanding either. I don't think this should be made into a full Smile type thing. Like,
no, I think in order to do so, you'd have to get rid of all of the seriousness and metaphors of it and turn it into this old guy who can possess people and take over their bodies.
I think it works as a short. I'm not sure that it needs to be a full feature-length film.
However, if the idea is there that he originally had is a feature film, but he made a short out of it, then I say fine, explore it.
Right.
But if they're not, and this is how it was written, it's probably better just to leave it at that. But he's a talented director.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see.
I'd be interested to see what he can
again,
do.
His, where did I have his name?
Curry, wasn't it?
Yeah, Curry Barker. So, keep an eye out for Curry Barker.
Right, related to Clive? Probably not.
Be amazing, though.
Right.
All right, so that's all for us for today.
Yep, check out that short, and please subscribe to our channel while you're here.
Yep, we should have, hopefully on Saturday, we'll be releasing our review for The Blackening. Fingers crossed that it all goes well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing that. And I guess it didn't do too bad at the box office over the weekend for a small film. So
well, everyone was like, what else can I see besides The Flash?
Yes, and I was really glad to see that its demographics were mixed. There was a lot of different people that went to see that. Yep. So horror people, that's the thing.
We don't care.
I've seen critics even talk about like cinema scores and everything, and they're like, none of that works for horror.
Nope.
Horror is its own thing. It doesn't matter if the critics say it's an F.
Audiences
will love it, find it.
Right. Every horror movie has an audience.
Yes, absolutely, and they will be found eventually. Well, on that note, I think I've talked enough now, and I'm gonna shut up.
All right, and I'm gonna go talk over here.
Okay, bye.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.